How's it going, everyone? It's Sam. I'm just playing. You already know the drill. If you know who that is, do your thing. We've got a lot to talk about here today, guys. It was an absolutely insane day in the market. Very strange stuff happening here. And I'm sure a lot of you out there are either confused, concerned, scared, don't know what to think. And I'll tell you what, this video is going to tell you everything you need to know about the price action on the day, why we didn't see the squeeze, and what you can expect moving forward with the price action and the stock. So we've got a lot to talk about. Let's just get right into the video. What is up, everybody? Welcome to Trades. We're giving technical analysis on different stocks in the stock market, as well as potential buy, hold, or sell opinions on these given stocks. I'd like to preface by saying that I'm not a financial advisor nor expert, so take what I say with a grain of salt. I'm going to skip the rest of my intro because we've got way too much to talk about today. Don't want to waste your time. Let's get into the video. So, what happened today with AMC? Well, obviously, things did not pan out the way that we expected them to. We had a nice gap up here in the pre-market. We closed the extended hours yesterday at about, or I suppose I should say Friday, at $13.35 or so, and opened actually extremely high, gapped up to about $17.50 at the open, high of 83, low of 68. Now, what did we see happen? Well, obviously, a very harsh sell-off at the open. And this is not your typical sell-off, guys. There was not a lot of volume coming into the stock today. I want you to see this. This is crucial to pay attention to. The overall volume today was not that high. We saw 418 million total shares. Comparatively, the next lowest was 391 million, in which we actually had a positive day. It was green. The candle is red, but we still moved up. We just closed the day lower than we opened the day. And this still indicates that there's some pretty heavy shorting happening on the stock. But essentially what that means and what is happening is we've got extreme selling pressure being generated by these hedge funds that are doubling down on their positions, right? So that is what happened here today. We saw that happen on AMC because, to be completely blunt, let's take a look at the price action here. We do not have any sort of validation for seeing this kind of sell-off from $17 all the way down to $13.48 off of this kind of volume. It doesn't make sense. Because at the same time, we saw the same amount of green volume pump right here. Right, look at this. The same amount of green volume, and it didn't move. The price didn't move. You know what that is? That's market manipulation. I'm going to talk about this. I'm going to pull this up and read it to you exactly what's happening right here. But this is called a short ladder. This is an attack strategy used by hedge funds to algorithmically push the stock price on a stock down by cheating the system illegally. And we also are seeing naked short selling. Now, what does that mean? I'll walk you through that whole process as well. But essentially, let's say that a stock has 100 shares. If AMC had 100 shares available in the market, right? Well, basically what happens is these hedge funds say, hey, I want 100 shares of AMC. Well, all these 100 shares aren't available for you, sir. So how about instead, the market maker can give you a deal, and we create another 100 shares for you, and you can sell those. So essentially, now we used to have a market that had 100 total shares, and now instead we've got a market with 200 total shares and an additional 100 that didn't exist before, right? So this does a couple things to the market. Let's just think about the basics of economics, right? With high supply comes low demand, low supply comes high demand, and when there's increased supply in the stock, it decreases demand, which consequently decreases the cost of the stock, which we did see happen here today with AMC. We pushed from $17.20 down to $13.48. Very drastic sell-off, and it was a tough day to watch for the stock. And I'm going to explain this to you very, very crystal clear. So I've got a couple of different articles pulled up. The anatomy of a short attack. And this is going to talk to you guys about what a short ladder is. So let's just read this really quick. Abusive shorting are not random acts of a renegade hedge funds, but rather a coordinated business plan that is carried out by a collusive consortium of hedge funds and prime brokers with help from their friends at the DTC and major clearing houses. Potential target companies are identified, analyzed, and prioritized. The attack is planned to its most minute detail. And I can almost guarantee you guys that this happened with GameStop. I almost said AimStop. AMC and GameStop combined. But I can almost guarantee this happened with GameStop and AMC. They made this plan months ago. And they said, all right, let's make these companies go bankrupt. We're going to milk every single freaking penny out of them. Which, think about how messed up that is. That they're just going to milk, think about how many people's lives are affecting. So that's just messed up to begin with. The plan consists of taking a large short position, then crushing the stock price, and, if possible, putting the company into bankruptcy. And they've got a reason for this. Bankrupting the company is a short home run because they never have to buy real shares to cover, and they don't pay taxes on the ill-gotten gain. So they never have to buy real shares to cover, and they don't pay taxes on the ill-gotten gain. So think about the ridiculous amount of money that they make on this. So essentially, if they sell these shorts, they sell these stocks, right? And the company goes bankrupt. That means that no longer are there any shares that exist. So they don't have to buy back those shares at that previous cost. They don't buy it back for $1. If the stock's worth $0, that means you just profited the difference. That means you made back every single dollar of the stock. You milked it dry. And on the other side of things, they don't pay taxes. They don't pay taxes on the gains. And not only that, but think about this. These hedge funds are absolutely crapping on these companies and any person that works for the companies. Think about all the retail workers at AMC or GameStop that'll be out work, right? This is going to create increase in overall unemployment, right? So you're going to see less people have jobs. It's going to put people that can't feed their families onto the streets. It's messed up. When is it time to drive the stock price down? When it is time to drive the stock price down, a blitzkrieg is unleashed against the company by a couple of short hedge funds and prime brokers. The playbook is very similar from attack to attack, and the participating prime brokers and lead shorts are fairly consistent as well. Typical tactics include the following. This is what we saw here happen today. Flooding the offer side of the board, ultimately the price of a stock is found at the balance point where supply and demand for the shares find equilibrium. This equation happens every day for every stock traded. On days when more people want to buy than want to sell, the price goes up. And conversely, when shares offered for sale exceed the demand, the price goes down. Well, the shorts instead manipulate the laws of supply and demand by flooding the offer side with counterfeit shares. Counterfeit shares. So it sounds exactly like what it is. They'll do what has been called a short down ladder, a short attack ladder. It works as follows. Short A will sell a counterfeit share at $10. Short B will purchase that counterfeit share, covering a previously open position. Short B will then offer a short counterfeit share at $9. Short A will hit that offer, or Short B will come down and hit Short A's $9 bid. Short A buys a share for $9, covering his open $10 short and booking a $1 profit, and they rinse and repeat multiple times with micro amounts of stock to do exactly what you just saw happen today with AMC. This is the picture-perfect definition of a ladder short attack. So they algorithmically cheated the market maker system and abuse the algorithm to absolutely crush the stock price, because there's absolutely no reason off of this sort of volume to see this kind of sell-off. You just don't see that happen. At the very worst, seeing this kind of volume, guys, it should have gone like this, up and down, consolidation, and we didn't see that happen. That's insane. That's not how the market should work, and it's what ended up happening. Now, what are we seeing here with the naked short, right? So a naked short. This is an invention of the securities industry that has a license to create counterfeit shares. So that's exactly what I'm talking about here with that short ladder, right? It is creating counterfeit shares. In the context of this document, a share created that has the effect of increasing the number of shares, diluting the total shares that are in the marketplace beyond the number issued by the company, is considered counterfeit, illegal. This is not a legal conclusion, since some shares we consider counterfeit are legal based upon today's rules. The alleged justification for naked shorting is to ensure an orderly and smooth market, but all too often it is used to create a virtually unlimited supply of counterfeit shares, which leads to widespread stock manipulation, the linchpin of this massive fraud. Returning to our example, everything is the same except the part about borrowing the share from someone else's account. There is no borrowed share. It is fabricated. Instead, a new one is created by either the broker, dealer, or the DTC. Without a borrowed share behind the short sale, a naked short is really a counterfeit share, or a share that does not actually exist. And this dilutes the share. It creates basically fake selling pressure. It tricks people into thinking the stock is plummeting, when in reality, if there's 100 shares on AMC and all 100 of them are holding, but all of a sudden there's 100 counterfeit shares of AMC, which you saw happen today, and they're all shorting the stock, well, it creates selling pressure that doesn't actually exist, because these shares don't actually exist. It's illegal. They're breaking rules that we have to follow as the 99%, and it's messing up the stock price. They're absolutely willing to crush these retail investors, us, you and me, take all of our money. They're willing to bankrupt this company. That's their goal. That's their end goal, is to bankrupt this company so they don't have to pay their taxes and they can milk out every possible cent from the stock. In fact, I bet you some of these hedge funds guys, when they saw this go up to $195 and $200, $500 for GameStop, right? And I bet they were scared, and they should still be scared. But at the end of the day, if they end up winning this, they really won the battle, guys. They really won, because they're going to bankrupt these companies, and it'd be so tragic to see, right? So that's what happened today with AMC. They got short ladder attacked, and they were counterfeiting and naked shorting this stock. And that's how GameStop had the epic squeeze that we saw, right? So GameStop went from, if we zoom back here a month, go back a month in time, they went from $41 up to $517 because there was a 250% short interest in the stock at one given time. And what this ended up doing is squeezing the stock with shares that don't exist. The diluted shares ended up reversing and hurting these shorts more than it ended up helping. And what they ended up doing? They didn't end up covering their losses. They doubled down again. That's a logical thing to do. You bet on double zeros at the casino instead of taking your losses. Let's just go to the casino and say, hey, I know I just lost $10 billion, but how about you spot me another $10 billion? And instead of me, covering my losses, I'll pay back, 30% interest per day and try to make it back. And I'm just going to bet on double zeros again. That's what they're doing with GameStop, and that's what we're seeing repeat here with AMC. Absolutely insane. Now, I know this sounds very pessimistic, but I promise you this is not the end of the world because there is still good news here on the horizon. We will get to that in just a little bit, but there is a couple more things that I want to show you. This is the overall AMC short interest, which was updated as of today. Now, we do have a total short volume of 76.9 million shares and a total market volume today of 354 million. Total short volume ratio or percentage compared to the market volume of 22%, which is about half of what we saw from the previous trading day of 147 million total shares. Now, what is the possibilities here? What could have happened? Well, there could have been people that had short positions, not options. This is different. Total short positions in the stock, which were below the price that they drive this down, right? So if they dropped it, or above, I should say, if they drive it down to 1336 and all of a sudden, well, we had short positions at 1430, they were able to cover. And this could have been why we saw a small push on the stock, right? It's possible. But at the end of the day, there is still an extremely high amount of short volume on the stock. There is. I've got the wrong page pulled up. But it's still 76 million total short volume. That's high. That's extremely, extremely high. It's still a short volume ratio of 21%, which could cause an extreme squeeze on the stock, which is good. And another thing that I want to show you guys is this article, this hit piece that was put out by MarketWatch. And this is another tactic that's being used right now by the hedge funds to scare people out of their money. Look at this. AMC stock is now a sell with a $1 price target, says MKM analyst. I'll tell you one thing right now. This made me laugh literally for like 5 straight minutes because that is absolutely not possible. I want to show you something. At all the time of the existence of AMC, it has never been worth $1. It's been worth $1.91. Never been worth $1. Never, ever, ever once. These are 1 month candles, guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 months right here. Never been worth $1. Not even a single time. So I don't see that even slightly being possible. This is the exact definition of fear mongering. Try to steal people's shares from them. Try to scare people into selling. The market manipulation. We've got these hit pieces coming out. They're trying to distract you with this idea of silver being the next short, right? If you Google the silver short right now, they're trying to convince everybody that this is going to be the next big squeeze, and they're trying to scare people and dilute the amount of volume coming into these stocks because they know that they're in trouble. They know they're in trouble. And if we let them win this, guys, it's going to be game over for these companies. It's going to be game over. It'll just be another situation where the big hedge funds won. I don't want to be on that side of history. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I don't at all. I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. Don't do as I say or say as I do. But this is something that I feel very, very strongly about, right? So think about this. It's bigger than, if you just completely take out the fact that these companies are willing to absolutely crush and kill these companies. The hedge funds are willing to kill these companies, bankrupt them, put people out of work, take millions of dollars out of retail investors' hands, even maybe billions of dollars. Think about this. I don't ever suggest people do this, but I know there are people that have YOLO'd this stock and put their entire life savings into this because they very strongly believe in this movement. And these hedge funds are saying, yeah, whatever. They're actually getting greedy and saying, we think we're going to beat you guys. And they're doubling down on their short positions, anticipating that they're going to bankrupt this company, take all this money from the retail investors, and put people out of work. And they don't care at all. They don't care whatsoever because at the end of the day, they're just trying to save their butts. They are 100% trying to save their butts. And that's what's happening right here with the stock. The overall bids and asks on the day. If you're watching the live streams, you know this in real time. I did talk about this in the live stream. I said there's absolutely no reason we should be seeing this sort of sell-off that we saw at the end of the day. It sold off immensely. We saw George W., the double bottom. This is a bullish indicator. Didn't play out. In fact, we continued bleeding, right? Currently trading at 12.19. Bled. Makes no sense. We should not have seen this kind of sell-off because the bids were higher than the asks. And this is because short laddering attack. It's illegal. The amount of manipulation happening in the market right now makes absolutely no sense. But where am I going with this? Where's the light at the end of the tunnel, right? What's the good news? That's what you're probably asking me right now. Well, the good news is there is good news. Last Friday, options did expire out the money. There are options out there that they have to pay on. Now, that does not necessarily mean they have to cover them all today, right? It wouldn't make sense for them to cover at the highest possible price point. They're going to do every single trick in the book to get people to sell their shares, to get the stock as low as they possibly can, to drive the price down so they don't lose as much money, right? They can cover Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, right? But at the end of the day, they still have to cover and the squeeze is still going to happen. So what's the difference look like, right? So we know that we squeezed from $2 up to 25. So instead of squeezing from 13 to maybe 100, relatively speaking, right? If we had the same amount of squeeze, it'd be a difference of if we dropped to $6, $7, $8, squeezing to maybe 25 or 30, just retouching what we previously hit, right? And what this comes down to and what we need to do as a community is buy and hold. And I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. I 100% promise you, do as you please. I understand that we are investors first and foremost, but myself personally, I will tell you very strongly how I feel. I had my Fidelity account closed against my will. And I know this happened to a lot of people. I read a lot of tweets. I read a lot of stuff across Reddit threads, forums, stock twits that at exactly the same time, 11:30 a.m. And I'll show you the exact day that this happened. Look back on this exact moment right here. I bet this is 11:30. 11:30 right here. I'm going to zoom in. Check this out. My account got sold at this exact moment, 11:24 a.m., and the stock price on AMC at the time was $6.52. They sold me for an absolute loss, and I know this happened across the board to a lot of people, not just with Fidelity, but with Robinhood. And I was not using margin. I was not using leverage. I was not in danger of a margin call. And even if I was, which I wasn't, I should have received the margin call first so I could cover those overall losses, because they do that. They call you and say, hey, you've got 24 to 48 hours to get money in this account or we're going to liquidate you. They can't just close your positions. That is not how it works. That's not how it works. It's not. And that happened across the board. And to me, it's not the money, right? I will make money back. I am doing well for myself, right? I turned $8,000 into $46,000 in 2 months. You can watch every video that I've ever put out, and you can watch that journey happen in real time because I've always been transparent about my portfolio. I've always showed you guys exactly what I'm doing, and I've never BS'd you. And I'm not BSing you here when I say I will make that money back. So it's not about the money for me. I know I'll make that money back. What it's about for me is this happens to all of us. This affects people that are not in the situation that I'm in right now. This happens to people that maybe all the money they owned that they made over 5 years, 10 years, they had in this portfolio, right? In their portfolio. And they got their positions closed, right? And they're being manipulated by these hedge funds that are saying, hey, you know, there are people out there who have been working for 20, 30 years that decided to get into this movement with AMC. And you know what? Screw them. We're just going to end up milking it dry. We're going to make this company go bankrupt. We're going to take the money from these people, and it kills them. And that is why I feel so strongly about this, because what's actually really cool about this movement, guys, is regardless of race, gender, sexual orientation, political agenda, your any of that stuff, where you're from on the planet, right? People are coming together and recognizing the extreme situation that's happening right now in the States. Like, I've got people over in my Discord from London, from Ireland, from Finland, from Africa, from basically every continent except for maybe Antarctica. I'd feel bad for you if you live in Antarctica, but saying, hey, we're with you guys. We're with you because we see this is corrupt. We see this should not be happening. America is a free market, and this, or so they claim, right? And in a free market, we should be able to buy and sell and do as we please without being worried of illegal actions from the 1%. Robinhood closed out buying, they limited buying along with other brokerage platforms, while at the same time, right, these hedge funds are able to short the stock while you can only sit there and watch the stock price go down and choose to sell if you'd like to, right? How is that a free market, right? You're being screwed. You're being screwed. These big hedge funds and these brokerage accounts are literally doing everything in their power to stop the people from winning this fight, and it's insane. It's absolutely insane. So what do you do, right? What's the end goal here? What's the good news? Two things. You can buy and hold. That is one thing that we know influences the stock price. Together as people, we can do so much more than we can do by ourselves. Myself, I can't do this by myself, guys. I don't have billions of dollars to my name. I could preach this message until I'm blue in the face, and it's not going to make a difference. I'm not going to be able to do anything unless as a community we come together. Of course, this is not financial advice. I am simply telling you as I see it, the information presented to me. But as people, if we come together and we buy and hold, that is the end game here. That is how this ends up panning out for everybody, is if we all come together and purchase and hold these stocks, right? And the second good piece of news is, as I said, the options did expire and they do have to cover those positions. And if we can hold the stock price over $9, $10, $11, the end game is still going to be the same. You're still going to see that squeeze. It might not be up to $100, right? But you're still going to see the squeeze happen. You're still going to see these hedges have to cover. They're going to be out a lot of money at the end of the day. That's just a fact, right? I think it is so incredibly humbling and cool to read all these different stories going on around the internet right now. And if I just pull up the Wall Street's Bets forum on Reddit, I bet you there's something just pulled up right here at the top. And it's basically just talking about how all these people that are making money off of GameStop and AMC are basically giving money to really cool different industries. And like I read a story about how a guy decided to build some wells out in a country that had no water available, and another guy decided to pay for 2 heart transplants for people who were on the verge of death, and another guy decided to pay for some chemo treatment for a person suffering through cancer. And it's absolutely insane to see this kind of stuff happen. Fake news. Look at this. Retail traders lose interest in GameStop. They're doing everything they can, guys. Every single possible thing they can. I'm telling you, this movement is not over. It's not over. I 100% guarantee you this is not over. And if you want to see this to the end, I'm telling you right now, unless you want to take profits, by all means, do as you please. Don't do as I do. This is simply my take on the situation. If you want to take profits, feel free to do so. If you want to see this to the end, what it's going to take is holding and buying together as a community. As my favorite movie trilogy of all time has said, I don't know if you know this, but Planet of the Apes, that trilogy is the best. I absolutely love it. Apes together alone, apes alone weak, apes together strong. Don't break those sticks, baby. That's what it's all about. So that is how the price action looks for today. As I said, we saw that really heavy short ladder brought down, heavy market manipulation. And if we want to see this to the end, we really need to buy and hold the stocks here. That is honestly what it comes down to. So I know this is a video that is pretty strong. It's got a lot of opinion in it. And I never want to be BSing you guys. I always want to be transparent. And I tried to give you the most relevant information that I can find. I presented with you the most relevant short volume that was available on Fintel as of today. I presented you with the reasoning we saw this price action, the different news releases that they're trying to distract us with. We can see so many blatant reasons why they're market manipulating to get us out of our shares, right? And to the end, whether this works out or not, I am seeing it to the end, because I'll guarantee you one thing. I'm an investor first and foremost, and I know that I'm going to continue to make money in the market. If this $5,000 that I've got in AMC right now drains to zero, that is what it is. So I thought room service was knocking on my door. I'm staying in a hotel in in Fort Sill for some training, but that is what I've got for the video today, guys. I tried to keep this as short as I possibly could, but we had a lot of information to cover, and that is what I have for you today. So if you enjoyed the video, please drop a like. It really does help support the channel, and consider subscribing if you'd like to see more content like this. And lastly, I have an affiliate link in the description box down below for Webull. Webull is a brokerage platform you're watching me use right now. Great platform. If you deposit $100, you get 4 free stocks. I also receive a free stock. Great way to support the channel, and if you're not interested, that's totally fine. I just appreciate your support by taking the time to watch my videos. Last thing that I want to say, what is the end game with AMC? How will you know how to get out? You'll know when to get out of AMC because the media will stop talking about this. I don't know if I mentioned this earlier, but if the media stops talking about it, that means that hedge funds are done. Whether it means they were killed or it means they won the battle, AMC and GME will stop being talked about on the news, and they'll stop trying to scare people when this game is over, and that is going to be your indicator to get out of the stock. So that is what I have for you guys today. Thank you for watching, my friends, and I'll see you all next time. Peace.